Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Who is that little girl?
Who is the mysterious guy who found the ship?
And who is basically everyone that's not a scavenger?
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and quickly to answer those questions. Ghosts. They're all ghosts. Anyway.
Yeah, all right.
So this week we're doing our second, I don't remember exactly how I worded it last week, but our second movie that we've owned for a long time. And never watched.
Yes.
Last week we did 13 Ghosts, and then this, which I think I got around the same time. So these are probably the ones I've had the longest that I had not watched.
Yes.
Like ever. We had not watched them. So, and the fact that they were made by the same people and stuff is very, I mean, different actors, but like
came out
director,
just a couple years apart.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. But anyway, basic premise. A bunch of people died on a ship. The ship floated around at sea for many years, and some scavengers or salvagers, I guess is what they
people looking for money.
Looking for anything worth something, you know,
that they can sell and then have money.
They get a lead on this boat, and ghostly things happen from the people that didn't survive when the boat became a ghost ship.
Yes. Sometimes the ship itself might be a ghost.
Yeah, something like that. So that's the basic premise, but why don't we roll the trailer so you can see exactly what we're talking about.
Mr. Murphy, I'm Jack Ferryman. I fly the Arctic Weather Patrol. Last month, I was out in the middle of the strait when I came across this.
Congratulations. You found a boat in the middle of the ocean.
What do you think a ship like this could be worth?
Depends on if we have the right to salvage it. I do know one thing. Sea gives you an opportunity, you take it.
Yo, Murph, I think you should get up here.
It's an ocean liner.
It's the Antonia Graza.
Any sign of what might have happened?
Nothing. No passengers. No crew. No captain. No mention of anything in the ship's log. What do you make of that?
A ghost ship.
I think I saw something I couldn't possibly have seen. I think I saw a little girl.
I know all of this isn't real.
We're all trapped here. I want to show you something.
Not
told you guys earlier there was something seriously wrong with this boat. Haunted, possessed, whatever you want to call it.
I say we get our boat going and get the hell out of here.
What are we gonna do?
We have got to get off this boat now.
Bon voyage.
All right. Now, before we get into the heart and soul, or meat and beef of the show,
Yes.
As he likes to call it, we're going to have to tell you why we're really here. See, you might think they love horror movies, which is true.
We do.
You might think that they just want to review them and give their opinions, which we
also
do.
true.
But what we really like? Money. Fat stacks of cash. And how do we make that money? Simple. We pimp ourselves out like the little hoes that we are. Just advertise for big corporations that probably don't pay their fair share in taxes. And we take some of the windfall of that money that they've saved by spending
Indeed, we
it on
do.
things like food and shelter. And
Yes.
spinners for a gold jet ski, as Bo Burnham once said.
Yes, and many other things.
Anyway, this week we're making our Brinks truck full of cash by promoting, let's see, Gory Storytime is brought to you by The Clue Cruise. The Clue Cruise is a combination of escape rooms and dinner murder mystery, all on a beautiful cruise ship. At dinner, a murder will take place. From there, you need to find the clues to help you solve the case. But be warned, many of the rooms with clues have doors that will shut behind you, locking you in. To get out, you must find your way out through puzzles. These mysteries can last up to 2 days, so sharpen your detective skills on The Clue Cruise. And by
the Good Ghost, Bad Ghost app. Don't you hate it when you find yourself in a situation where you meet a ghost and it says it is friendly and as open-minded as you are? You want to verify. You need a way to make sure it's not something to fear. The Good Ghost, Bad Ghost app is here for you. Whether a ghost, poltergeist, or really anything that goes bump in the night, a Good Ghost, Bad Ghost has you covered. We are so sure our app is effective. We have a double your money back guarantee. If we are wrong and you get killed by a ghost, we had okayed the Good Ghost, Bad Ghost app. Check your app store today. That'd be nice.
Anyway.
Except for the dead part.
All right, so basically that's the plot, right? We got that. People salvaging a ghost ship. Someone comes and says, hey,
I found this big ship.
And they're like, yeah? And he's like, I want 10%. And they're like,
No.
Not if we do all the work. He goes, I'll come with you. And then he does. And there's ghosts on the ship. I know it's shocking. But anyway, all right, why don't we get into the behind-the-scenes info?
Yes. In 2016, the media website Coming Soon named this film's opening scene one of the greatest in horror film history.
You know, that was my nickname in high school.
Horror film history?
No, Coming Soon.
Oh.
Anyway, the theatrical poster for Ghost Ship was inspired by the poster for Death Ship from 1980, another film about a haunted ocean liner.
Okay.
Inspired by, or just was a direct ripoff of, I don't know.
The scene on the foredeck where the captain and passengers are dancing and the scene in the ballroom was a common tradition at the time near the end of a transatlantic voyage. These were usually held near the coast as the ship approached the end of the trip, and these balls were called the Captain's Ball.
Would-be director Steve Beck's last feature film as a director. Previously, he had done his directorial debut of 13 Ghosts in 2001.
So his first one was last week.
And then
his last one
was this week, and there were none in between. All right.
Yikes. Francesca Redoni can't speak English, which required director Steve Beck to get a translator on set so that she could understand his commands. This is also why she's not given much dialogue in the film, and what few lines she does have are in Italian.
Shooting took place in Gold Coast, Australia. Filming scenes set in the ocean was particularly intimidating for the cast and crew, as there was a rather large amount of shark activity at the time.
Oh, jeez. Was the first Dark Castle Entertainment horror film released to be based on an original concept, as the original idea for the company was to remake horror films, William Castle horror films, which the previous few films were, though it was still critically panned like their previous releases.
Juliana Margulies and Ron Eldard were dating from 1991 to 2003. They were actually a couple during filming. They split a year after Ghost Ship premiered. They also played a couple on the TV show ER.
Gabriel Byrne replaced Brian Cox, who backed out of the project due to do The Ring in 2002 instead.
The design for Antonia Greza was modeled after Andrea Doria, a man's name, a real-life Italian ocean liner that also met a tragic fate. It sank in the 1950s after colliding with another liner. Contrary to this fact, the Antonia Greza actually shows a stronger resemblance to the Leonardo da Vinci, a slightly altered and larger design that replaced the Doria after she sank.
Juliana Margulies.
I mean, you heard me say it already.
I didn't remember that part. Okay. Said in an interview that the movie had originally been written as a psychological thriller about what happens when you have too much of something. Money is evil, greed, and these two people start going crazy, which is why she agreed to do it. Then she got off the plane in Australia, and the script had totally changed. She said, "Suddenly, I was in a really awful horror movie, and it was shocking, but it was too late to back out."
The movie poster features the Queen Mary as a stand-in for the Antonia Greza, whatever.
Ghost Ship was allegedly conceived as The Shining on a cruise liner. In The Shining, the character Wendy Torrance says, like a ghost ship, when the manager Allman tells her how deserted the Overlook Hotel will feel when all the guests and staff have gone away.
And we kind of recognized a couple of things, the ghost in the mirror, like the bartender scene.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of things that we were like, oh, they definitely took that right from the Kubrick version of The Shining. Juliana Margulies has disowned this film, which makes sense considering what you had just read from her.
The opening scenes of the movie are done very much in the style of a 1962 MGM or Warner Bros. Movie. The film's color palette and emulsion, the graininess of the Warner Bros. Logo, the titles, music style, even the font styles used for the opening credits. It starts off looking very much like an old movie rather than a 21st century movie starting in 62.
Producer Joel Silver offered to film Rennie Harlan, who passed on the project. It broke their long friendship, and Silver vowed to never talk to Harlan again.
Wow.
Oh, he offered the film, too. Sorry.
A standard gold bar weighs 27.5 pounds. It's unlikely that anyone on the crew would be able to pick one up with one hand so easily or wave them around, and two people would not be able to pick up the boxes full of bars like they do in the film, as the boxes would easily weigh 250 to 300 pounds.
There's a noticeable similarity to the plot of The Triangle from 2001, a TV movie released the previous year. It's unclear whether Ghost Ship ripped off Triangle or if they simply were both imitating The Shining in a ship rather than a mountain hotel.
Carl Urban and Ron Eldard both later appeared in movies directed by J.J. Abrams. Urban played Dr. McCoy in Star Trek and its sequels, and Detective John Kennex on the TV series Almost Human, while Eldard played Louis Dynard in Super 8.
And this one's got spoilers. The film was originally conceived as a relatively bloodless psychological horror film about a salvage crew who turns against each other in greed and vitriol after being stranded in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean aboard the remains of a cruise ship, the Chimera, believed to have been lost in the 60s. The idea was to create The Shining on a boat. In the script, Murphy was actually the killer, and after the boat crashes onto the rocks and begins to sink, He attempts to leave with the gold and inadvertently kills himself while Epps makes it out alive with Katie's help. Much of the gore in the film was not in the script. 2 additional crew members were also written into the story. The script was so drastically altered by one of the producers, Joel Silver, in a 2014 drama actress roundtable session. Juliana Margulies said the original script is why her and the rest of the cast had signed on, and once she got off the plane, she was handed a different script, and she was heartbroken, though the actors were contractually bound and could not back out. So some of that's very similar piece of info. But
And then the people.
Yes. So, again, I like to do this every time just because you never know if it's someone's first episode. We like to give the Rotten Tomato scores. For those who don't know how that works, Rotten Tomatoes just takes all of the critic scores of a movie and boils it down to positive and negative. The percentage they give is the percentage of people that are critics, or in my case, people on the website that call it give it a positive review. So if it says 50, it doesn't mean that it's a 50% movie. What it means is 50% of the people said positive things.
Right.
So it might not line up with, like, if you watch it and think, oh, that's like a B+, well, it could still come out
right
50 because
those people, if they said, 3 out of 5, that's
right.
positive.
And a lot of people get mad at Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, you gave my film, like, they didn't give the film anything. They just looked at all data that they could. But anyway, the professional reviewers say it's at
16%.
And the people have it a little higher at 37, a little more than double.
Yes.
Last week it was much closer with 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, I don't remember exact numbers, but yes.
All right. Before we give it our rating, we're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite scenes. What do you want to go first?
I mean, I'll go with favorite first.
I wonder if it's the same thing. Was it involving your first fact?
It was.
Me too.
It was indeed.
So we can talk about this together.
All right, so favorite goes first, and it's the very opening scene.
Yeah. Unlike 13 Ghosts, which we didn't care for that much, but we didn't hate. It was just convoluted and confusing, and
I left the movie not knowing.
Yeah, we didn't really
anything.
know if we liked it. This I actually have an answer definitively, but this first scene, it was way better than the confusing pile of whatever started off 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
I know I shouldn't compare it to that because that's not what we're doing, but same director, same production,
same group, same writing staff. It's everything.
And this was just much better in my opinion. As much as Margulies doesn't like it, I actually don't think it's that bad. But yeah, like they show this
the captain's ball.
Right, but it's not a wire. What was the thing that was it? A wire?
It was like a wire, like a.
It was, I don't know. Anyway,
metal wire
that snapped and basically sliced through everybody while they were dancing. It just opens with just it. It was really taut. It snapped and it was pulled through the whole dance floor, and only one person survived, and that was because she was too short, and everyone else.
And everybody else chopped right in half, chopped pieces off their faces and stuff.
Yeah, it was
fell all down onto the ground.
Pretty
it was disgusting.
dope.
It was beautiful.
I liked it. All right, what was your least favorite?
I mean, again, it's the idea that people in Hollywood don't, even when they're doing a movie, they don't seem to care about actually what's said in the Bible, okay? Because this guy was collecting souls for Satan. Satan doesn't want your soul.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a different conversation for not this show, but yeah, like, if you actually read the content of the Bible, Satan is not sitting on a throne ruling hell.
He's
biblically
certainly not trying to collect
on the
you.
earth, and he's going to be thrown into hell and tortured too. So he's not really.
His thing is just to trick you to be alongside with the torture.
Yeah.
It's not that he's collecting your soul for
He gets
him
no
to
benefit
torture
for you going other than, haha, not just me.
Right.
But this isn't that show, but yeah.
Hollywood has this weird conception of the
They always
Bible
show
where Satan rules, and like he doesn't.
like
So
biblically, he'll be thrown in to be tortured too, and he won't be in until like it gets opened at the end of time.
right.
End of time meaning like the end times, not you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Time
Not
will
this
go
show.
on without it. Yeah, like this goes on for a long time. No, my least favorite thing was probably a lot of the twists were obvious.
Yeah, I mean, right at the very beginning,
You called out, hey, that guy is this.
I was like, he's either a ghost or he's like
Setting them up to be killed
setting
by
them up
ghosts.
to be
or
killed by
whatever.
ghosts
Yeah,
or
oh, I
something.
know. And like the little girl thing, like there was a few twists that they were just generic. They were easy to see a mile away. But that's because we've also consumed so much horror media
Oh my goodness,
that
yes,
like
we have.
it's really hard to give a twist
It's
where we
hard
go,
to
that's
fool
new.
us.
Yeah. Because we know, and I write short horror and stuff, so like I know the kind of things you put in subtly so that it can pay off later. And then when people go back to go, oh wow, I didn't notice that. I know how to add some of those type of details in. So like I know how to look for them too.
Right.
It's like, oh, they wouldn't have, stopped on this thing and paused
Right.
unless they want us to remember this thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, so that would be for me.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I like when someone can still surprise me, but what do I want from a 20-year-old movie almost?
Right.
And I've had it since almost it came out on DVD. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, this one's from what, 2002?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
3, I think.
2003 maybe then?
But anyway, all right. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
I think I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5.
6.5. Okay. I was gonna say 7, mainly because it's really not a bad movie.
No.
It's just
It was really worth the
It is-
time to
it's-
watch
yeah.
the time I watched it.
it is.
I don't
It's
know
worth
that
watching.
I'm going to revisit it a lot.
No, and it's not one of those horror movies you have to watch again and again. Saw can be that way,
Saw
or
can be that
Paranormal
way.
Activity, or Freddy and Jason movies.
But
are
it's
fun.
like
This. It's like, yeah, all right,
down the
I've seen
line,
it
I
now.
could definitely see myself, if I've got a child, wanting to show him or her this movie eventually.
Sure.
So like, it's worth rewatching.
Yeah, just not like some. Some people make
So
sure to
6.5,
annually watch.
7.
Yeah. And that's about it. to
That's
say
about it. I
that.
mean,
so there's
It should be available for you to find a way to watch it. Do
the stuff
that,
that's
and
over
the stuff on the
there.
side of the screen. You could watch this show on Fact TV channel 1076 Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook, and when I say us, I mean Gory Storytime. I mean Fact TV.
Yes.
Their live stream. If you're watching the live stream, hey, yeah,
Yeah. You can go to factate.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this show and many other shows that they do on this channel.
yep. And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all lowercase, all one word.
I'm at Jiggly Firm Brain. I don't tweet anything about the show.
Either do I, really. But he does tweet things that I say out of context because he finds it funny. So if you like the interplay, like just know that he's picking the things that either to say it's exactly
not-
my words, but he leaves out context if it makes it funnier. Yeah, it's context if it makes it funnier. Whatever.
Whatever makes it funnier.
Yeah,
I
and
try
we
to
like
do
to
it
sit
that
back
way.
sometimes at night and just like scroll through and be like, remember this from a year ago? Oh, it's some
Haha.
good stuff.
All right.
All right. And also check out my YouTube channel. It's Juggalo Jakes. It's got music videos. It's got episodes of this. It's got episodes of an old show I used to do called Daddy Issues. It's got a political show that's, if you're not into political arguing, maybe don't watch, but sketches, all sorts of good stuff.
Oh, yeah. And until next time.
And also Fact TV has one, so look for that too.
And until next time, with another horror movie we've owned for a long time without watching, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig.
And sweet dreams.